Well, well, well. They can't explain it, and they hate that. You didn't come from the expected places, didn't wear the labels they respect, didn't use the tone they trust. Yet somehow, everywhere, people are starting to whisper your name like it means something. Across oceans, across languages, across timelines that shouldn't even overlap, your existence keeps surfacing like a signal that refuses to be drowned. You aren't trending, you're echoing. There's a difference. A trend burns bright, then vanishes. An echo crawls through walls, bends through distance, outlives the sound that made it. That's what you've become. An echo that belongs to everyone and no one at the same time. You move, and strangers feel the movement in their bones. You speak, and someone halfway across the planet exhales like they've been holding that breath for years. They don't know how to describe it, but they know they feel seen. They call it inspiration, but it's closer to recognition. They recognize the part of themselves that refuses to die, and you've given it permission to breathe again. It started quietly. No fireworks, no dramatic entrance, just a ripple. A few people stumbled across your story, your words, your way of seeing, and something inside them shifted. They began sharing your fragments like coordinates to freedom. One repost, one caption, one random clip in the middle of a sleepless night, and suddenly thousands of people are sitting in dark rooms nodding to the same truth. They don't need to know you personally. They already feel connected because you've translated the pain they never knew how to articulate. You became a mirror, but not the kind that flatters, one that reflects truth. You said the things they were afraid to admit, and by saying them out loud, you turned shame into solidarity. That's how legends actually begin, not with attention, but with resonance. You made people remember what authenticity feels like. In a world addicted to pretending, you stayed raw, not polished, not perfect, just real enough to remind everyone that the mess has meaning. That's what struck them. You didn't build a brand, you built belief. You didn't sell hope, you embodied it. Every scar you showed became a survival manual for someone else. Every failure you turned into a story became a weapon in the hands of those who thought they were powerless. That's why it's global now. That's why people you've never met are defending you in comment sections, quoting you in private messages, building courage from your chaos. Because you didn't just rise, you carried people with you on the way up. They don't even realize how deep your reach goes. It's not about followers, it's about frequency. When you post, it isn't content, it's current. People can feel it hum through their screens, subtle but undeniable. The experts try to explain it with marketing terms, but it's not strategy, it's spirit. You transmit something ancient, something that makes strangers feel safe to be human again. They come to your page, exhausted, disillusioned, half numb, and they leave feeling alive. That's not engagement, that's resurrection. Somewhere right now, someone is scrolling through your words for the 100th time. Not because they forgot what you said, but because they need to feel that pulse of truth again. And they whisper, "How does this person understand me so well?" As if you reached into their private thoughts and translated them into light. You became living proof that vulnerability doesn't weaken, it magnetizes. Every story you told cracked open another heart. Every time you showed your darkness, someone else's shame lost its power. You broke the unwritten rule that says strength must be stoic. You redefined strength as exposure, as courage, as surviving while still feeling everything. And that terrified the ones who only know how to perform. Because when authenticity shows up, performance collapses. You didn't mean to threaten anyone, but truth always does. They call you influential because they can't bring themselves to admit the real word. Transformative. They thought you were just another account. Now they see communities forming around you, people healing, connecting, growing without permission from any institution. You're not leading a movement, you are the movement. A quiet revolution disguised as a single human life. The pattern is repeating itself everywhere. A person finds you, feels seen, then becomes a source of light for someone else. Chain reaction, energy contagion. You've created a network of awakening without even planning it. The powerful spend billions trying to achieve what your authenticity did for free. Global influence rooted in emotional truth. That's why even those who pretend not to care still check your updates. They can't look away from what's real, and yet you still act normal. That's the wild part. You still question yourself sometimes. You still underestimate what your existence is doing to people. You have no idea how many lives have shifted quietly because of something you said when you were just trying to survive your own chaos. There are people who stopped self-destructing because of you. People who went back to school, left toxic relationships, started creating again, all because they saw themselves reflected in your endurance. You didn't preach, you proved. That's what makes it different. You never told them to change. You showed them it's possible. You gave them permission to try again. And now, your influence has become folklore. People describe you in different ways. Some say you're a healer. Others call you a visionary, a rarity, an energy they can't define. They're all right in their own way. Because what you are isn't a title. It's a frequency that adapts to whoever receives it. To one person, you're a lifeline. To another, you're a spark. To someone else, you're the reason they didn't give up this week. You've become a phenomenon that even algorithms respect. They can't suppress authenticity forever. It leaks through everything. That's why every attempt to copy you feels hollow. Because people don't just consume you, they feel you. There's a quiet army forming in your shadow. People who believe in being real again, who believe in showing scars instead of hiding them. You've inspired an entire demographic that didn't exist before. The unapologetically honest. They don't idolize you. They emulate the courage you triggered in them. That's what the old world never prepared for. A generation that follows truth instead of trends. And you lit the match. You might never see all the faces, never read all the messages, but energy leaves evidence. Look around. Conversations sound more human again. Art feels raw again. People are talking about purpose again. You did that without a PR campaign, without endorsements, just by existing truthfully enough to remind everyone that masks aren't oxygen. Sometimes it must feel unreal, seeing strangers across continents use your name as motivation, seeing your quotes tattooed, your phrases repeated in songs, your images turned into symbols of resilience. It's strange, yes, but it's also proof that authenticity never dies quietly. You became what the world was starving for, something true. And truth has a funny way of surviving. Everything meant to bury it. That's why your following isn't fandom, it's faith. Not in you, but in what you represent. Every share, every message, every tear someone sheds while watching your content. It's not admiration, it's recognition of freedom. You gave people permission to be raw in a world that punishes realness. That's why they don't just relate to you, they orbit you. But here's the paradox you've created. People are obsessed with understanding how someone so normal-looking could become global, how a single human could carry such collective emotion without losing sanity. They'll never fully grasp it because they're studying the surface. The truth is, it's not what you do, it's what you are. You move through life like someone who's seen behind the curtain, someone who no longer plays by the emotional laws everyone else obeys. Your energy doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. That's why your presence spreads even when you say nothing. You've become a living transmission of everything people secretly crave: honesty, depth, passion, and peace that doesn't beg to be understood. Every great cultural wave starts with one person who refuses to shrink. That's you now. You don't need validation from charts or check marks. Your proof is in the shift. People speak differently after hearing you. They treat themselves differently. They think, if they can survive that, maybe I can too. That's not fandom, that's evolution, and you've become its unexpected catalyst. You're teaching the world that one person's authenticity can echo louder than 1,000 performances. That real connection will always outperform curated perfection. That vulnerability, once weaponized, becomes unstoppable. And maybe that's what they'll never understand. You didn't chase admiration. You built alignment. You didn't ask to be followed. You simply walked in truth. And truth magnetized its tribe. That's why you keep waking up to new messages, new mentions, new lives you unknowingly touched. You're not just inspiring people. You're recalibrating what inspiration even means. The world used to call it fame. Now they call it you. Because when people look at you now, they don't just see a person, they see possibility. They see what happens when pain turns into power, and power turns into purpose. They see someone who didn't just survive, but translated survival into language. You've become the example no one saw coming. The quiet revolution wearing human skin. And the irony? You're still becoming. This isn't the peak, it's the ignition. Because somewhere right now, as you read this, another soul is discovering you for the first time. Another heart is finding its pulse again through your words. Another mind is awakening from the illusion that they were ever ordinary. And they'll whisper the same phrase everyone does when they first encounter your energy: who are you? The question doesn't die there, it travels. It leaves their lips and spills into conversations, comments, podcasts, newsrooms, interviews. You can feel it building now, the tremor of curiosity swelling into fascination. It started with a few posts, a few edits, a few voices rising in awe. But now it's an echo chamber that spans continents. Documentaries mention your rise like a cultural riddle. Analysts gather around screens, tracing timelines, trying to figure out where this all began. How did one person without an empire, without corporate backing, without the usual machine, ignite something this global? They study the algorithms, dissect the timing, measure the data, and they keep missing the point. Because this was never a campaign. It was a chain reaction of recognition. People didn't follow you because you were famous. You became famous because they followed what felt real. You've become the pulse of something new, a movement that refuses to name itself. Journalists call it the phenomenon of connection. Sociologists call it the empathy revival. Psychologists call it collective resonance. But the truth is simpler. You became what humanity had been starving for. Proof that one person's truth could break through the digital fog. Somewhere in Tokyo, a student quotes you before an exam. In Lagos, An artist paints your words on a wall. In New York, a stranger writes your name in a notebook next to the words, "Don't give up." They've never met, never spoken, but they are connected by the thread of your existence. You've become a secret language shared by millions, a reminder that the world isn't as divided as it seems. People from opposite sides of belief systems, languages, and histories are agreeing on one thing. You made them feel human again. They're not just watching your journey, they're synchronizing with it. You've unknowingly created a global frequency where survival stories don't whisper, they roar. It's happening faster than the networks can contain it. News outlets try to summarize you, but every label dissolves the moment they print it. Visionary, influencer, cultural disruptor. None of it fits. They talk about your followers like numbers, not realizing each one is a human soul whose trajectory shifted. Your videos get analyzed like code, every phrase replayed, every silence dissected. Because experts can't comprehend how something this emotional could bypass logic and turn into global influence, they call it luck. They call it timing. But the people who feel you know better, they don't see luck, they see alignment. They don't see strategy, they see destiny rewritten in real time. It's no longer about content, it's about contagion. You've infected the world with authenticity, and the infection spreads through screens, through whispers, through late-night thoughts. It's not viral because it's trendy, it's viral because it's true. There's a cafe in Berlin where people discuss your quotes like scripture. A college in Brazil teaches an elective inspired by your mindset. A small radio show in Morocco plays your clips between songs. In Soul, dancers move to your monologues, translating your rhythm into movement. In Paris, your name is graffiti on a bridge with the phrase, "They reminded me who I am." And somewhere in a hospital room, someone recovering from their darkest day is replaying your voice, using it as proof that light can be found even in collapse. You've become a phenomenon that no government, no platform, no system of measurement can fully capture. Because your impact doesn't live in the data, it lives in the breath people take after realizing they still matter. They've started calling it the ripple. Influencers mention it, scientists debate it. They say, how can one person cause such emotional synchronization? It's because your influence isn't confined to social media. It's energetic. You changed the way people feel, not just the way they think. You reintroduced humanity to itself. The collective didn't need another celebrity. It needed a mirror that felt alive. You became that. That's why people relate to you so fiercely. You don't talk at them. You talk to the part of them that's been ignored for years. And when that part wakes up, it spreads. Now millions of people are living differently, breathing differently, making choices that honor their truth, because you made truth look beautiful again. Some call it fandom, but it's deeper. These aren't followers. They're fragments of the same story. Every person who connects with you is living proof that pain can become poetry, that honesty can travel further than fame. You don't lead them, you remind them. You don't instruct them, you ignite them. The difference is everything. That's why people around the world describe you with reverence, usually reserved for legends. They say your name the way people say, "Thank you," after surviving something they weren't supposed to. And yet, you stay unreachable in the best way. You haven't allowed adoration to corrupt you. You still move like a mystery, showing up unexpectedly, disappearing when the world gets too loud, always leaving behind a trail of whispers and questions. You've made being unreachable an art form. Even the industry elites are taking notice now. Behind closed doors, executives talk about your unexplainable pull. They're trying to reproduce it in marketing campaigns, hiring experts to reverse engineer the human effect. But they can't, because your currency isn't attention, it's alignment. They can sell products, but they can't sell authenticity. They can fake everything except you. Every attempt to replicate your formula collapses because you were never manufactured. You were born from chaos, and chaos doesn't follow templates. That's what terrifies them, because it means the future belongs to those who live truthfully, not those who perform it. And you just proved it to 7 billion witnesses. You've become a paradox for the digital age, accessible but untouchable, relatable but impossible to replicate. When people talk about you, their voices lower, as if mentioning something sacred. You've made the internet feel personal again. People who've never met now share your lines like emotional handshakes. They talk about the day they found you the way others talk about spiritual encounters. It was just a random video, they say, but it felt like they were speaking directly to me. That's how movements begin, not with a plan, but with a feeling too strong to ignore. You've turned ordinary humans into carriers of your message, and they don't even realize it. Every time they quote you, every time they act a little braver, you extend further into the collective narrative. Even media outlets who don't understand you are forced to acknowledge you. They can't ignore the metrics, the reach, the undeniable shift in audience engagement. Articles get published trying to decode you. Who is this person? How did they rise? Why does everyone relate? But the more they write, the less they know. Because what's happening isn't information, it's transformation. You've bypassed comprehension and gone straight to connection. That's why traditional fame feels outdated next to you. You don't need controversy or spectacle. You're magnetic because you carry something the modern world forgot: sincerity. And it's not just the everyday people now. Scholars quote you in speeches about resilience. Psychologists use your story as case studies in seminars about influence. Musicians sample your words. Directors reach out, hoping to capture your energy in film. You've become a reference point for what it means to be human again in a machine-driven era. And it's not about ego. It's about evolution. Humanity forgot how to feel each other, and somehow you reminded them. You taught people that emotion isn't weakness, it's evidence of life. You turned empathy into rebellion. The more they try to label you, the further beyond definition you move. You've become a ghost in the global consciousness, everywhere and nowhere, visible but untouchable. There are entire threads online dedicated to interpreting your motives, your gestures, your words. They slow your clips down frame by frame, trying to capture the moment your eyes shift, as if that second might hold the secret to your influence. But what they don't understand is that the secret isn't in the way you speak, it's in the way you exist. You carry yourself like someone who's been through enough loss to no longer chase validation. That's what makes you dangerous to the old world. They can't manipulate someone who no longer needs to be seen to feel real. Somewhere think tanks are studying you. PR teams are holding meetings with your name on whiteboards. Governments whisper about your reach, wondering if this kind of emotional power can be controlled. But it can't, because this isn't propaganda, it's presence. Presence can't be bought, can't be weaponized, can't be replicated. It exists beyond permission. You're not building a brand. You're birthing a collective identity that refuses to forget what being human feels like. And that's exactly why your story is being written in real time, in every corner of the world, in every language imaginable. People who never agreed on anything before are agreeing on this. You made them feel again. And yet, amid all the noise, you remain strangely calm. You see the chaos, the praise, the analysis, but you don't react. You've learned to let the world spin around you while you stay anchored. You've become the eye within the hurricane of attention, and that's what keeps you untouchable. They can't scandalize you, can't exhaust you, can't reduce you, because you're not playing for clout. You're playing for consciousness. Every move you make feels intentional. Every pause feels poetic. Even your absence feels strategic. You've made mystery modern again. There are whispers now, whispers of people calling you a once-in-a-generation figure. They say you're redefining what influence means. They compare you to legends who shaped entire eras, and yet your response is simple. You just kept showing up. That's the paradox that keeps the world hooked. You're both ordinary and extraordinary. You make people believe that greatness isn't inherited, it's activated. That's why the connection runs so deep. When people celebrate you, they're really celebrating the part of themselves that believes again. And this is where it gets interesting. Because the global attention doesn't slow down, it amplifies. You've become both the observer and the observed, the teacher and the lesson. The ripple has turned into a wave, and still, you walk through it with that same quiet certainty that started everything. You're not chasing validation. You've already become the validation. The world keeps watching, waiting for your next move, your next word, your next pause. But what they don't realize is that the real transformation isn't happening on the screen. It's happening inside them because of you. And now the air feels different. You can sense it, the shift, the hum of a world preparing for something even larger. Because what's coming next isn't just about influence, it's about legacy. The question that began as, "Who are you?" is evolving into something deeper. What are you becoming? And soon, the answer will no longer belong to you alone. It will belong to everyone who felt the spark you ignited, everyone who now walks with the same light you carried through your darkness. The world isn't just inspired anymore, it's awakening. And as they rise, as they start to speak your language without even realizing it, something monumental begins to unfold. The kind of global awakening that doesn't announce itself with fireworks, but with whispers shared in different tongues that somehow carry the same emotion. People across the world are syncing to your rhythm. They post fragments of your words, your pauses, your philosophies, blending them into their daily lives like sacred rituals. Someone in London starts their morning with your quote on a mirror. A mechanic in Mexico hums a phrase you once said under his breath before beginning his shift. A nurse in Cairo recites your lines silently before entering a patient's room. You've become a quiet anthem for the living, a thread woven through ordinary moments that no algorithm could design. What's happening isn't measurable anymore. It's spiritual electricity disguised as cultural movement. You've become not just a person, but a pulse, an uncontainable wavelength, reminding millions that humanity still breathes beneath the noise. Everywhere you look now, reflections of your influence glimmer like constellations. A filmmaker in Mumbai creates a short film based on your transformation. A poet in Argentina writes an entire collection titled after your energy. A choir in South Africa performs a piece inspired by your resilience. You're no longer a story, you're source material. You've turned existence itself into an open library of inspiration, and every reader finds a different truth inside your chapters. That's what makes it eternal. You didn't preach hope, you embodied it until people started believing again. You didn't sell a message, you became the message, and that subtle difference changed everything. The world was built on voices shouting for attention, and you whispered, and the whisper carried further than any scream could. Because authenticity doesn't need volume, it needs vibration. You can feel the shift in the air whenever your name appears now. It's not the energy of celebrity, it's reverence. People don't idolize you, they identify with you. They see themselves in your rise, your resilience, your reinvention. They see that greatness doesn't always wear gold. It sometimes wears scars. They see that strength doesn't mean being untouched. It means being touched deeply and still standing. That's why people connect with you more than they can explain. You've shown them that purpose isn't found. It's forged through the fire of being misunderstood. You became the living proof that pain, when channeled right, can evolve into presence. And your presence now radiates across the planet like a silent reminder that one person's awakening can rewire the emotional circuitry of millions. What's happening now isn't hype, it's history. Cultural curators have begun calling this era the human renaissance, and your name is carved into its foundation. Not because you asked for it, but because you embodied what the world forgot: authenticity as revolution. Your fans don't just adore you, they align with you. They defend you without being told. They celebrate you without needing approval. They gather online not to gossip, but to grow. You've made connection feel sacred again. And in a world drowning in performance, that's a miracle. You didn't lead with perfection, you led with presence. You made vulnerability look victorious. And now people across continents are learning that honesty doesn't ruin them, it rebuilds them. Somewhere right now, a classroom in Finland is analyzing the psychology of your impact. A television host in Canada tears up mid-interview when describing what your words meant during their lowest point. A young boy in Manila is painting your face, not as an idol, but as a symbol of endurance. The scope of your reach has transcended fame. It's entered mythos, not the myth people worship, but the living memory that societies keep passing down. You've become the story parents tell their children when they explain why being real is still worth it. You've become proof that influence doesn't require perfection, only presence and persistence. And through all this, you remain strangely grounded, still moving through the world with the same deliberate grace, still quiet in a world that confuses volume with value. The fame doesn't intoxicate you because your vision has outgrown applause. You know now that your purpose isn't to be admired, it's to awaken. And the awakened don't need trophies. Their reward is in witnessing transformation. Every message you receive, every tear someone sheds because they finally felt understood. Every moment of courage that blooms somewhere because of something you once said. That's the legacy. You've become the proof that legacies don't need to be built. They just need to be lived out loud. And maybe that's the real phenomenon. The way you inspire without effort. The way your existence itself became medicine. People find healing in your composure, guidance in your chaos, direction in your stillness. You showed them that redemption isn't loud, it's consistent. That being seen isn't about exposure, it's about embodiment. You've turned millions of strangers into reflections of your own journey, and in doing so, you've given them permission to love their becoming. The headlines, the awards, the interviews, none of it defines you. What defines you is the ripple you leave behind, the hope you ignite without even trying. They still ask the same question, over and over, who are you? And the answer keeps evolving. You're the reminder, the permission, the reflection. You're the human proof that transformation can be contagious. You've given people a new kind of hero, one that doesn't stand above them, but beside them. And that's why your name keeps spreading, not like gossip, but like gospel, a universal reminder that it's possible to start again. Across the map, hearts beat a little differently because of you. People rise a little faster, speak a little clearer, love a little braver. The ripple has become rhythm now. The phenomenon has become pulse. The movement has become memory. And one day, when historians look back at this moment, they'll say, this was when humanity rediscovered its reflection. They'll say the revolution didn't begin with a war or a speech. It began with one person daring to be real in front of the world. You, the one who showed that honesty could still go viral. The one who reminded billions that connection is stronger than perfection. The one who walked through the noise and emerged not as a celebrity, but as a compass pointing the human spirit home. And long after the trends fade, your energy will remain in the architecture of hearts you rebuilt without permission. Because now, you're not just someone they follow, you're someone they feel. You've crossed the threshold where admiration becomes devotion, where stories become symbols, where presence becomes proof. You've changed what inspiration means, and the world will never forget who did it first. The echo of your name will keep teaching people that greatness isn't about being untouchable. It's about being unforgettable. And somewhere, even as this moment passes into history, someone new will find your words, feel that spark, and whisper in disbelief, just like the first ones did. Oh my God, who are you?